It's 9:15 now. Get the latest developments in legal headlines from a trusted source.
Now, Richard Wolf is with our friends from Rio and Caraway to break it all down in another edition of Sidebar.
I'm Rachel Wolf with your Sidebar segment. We're talking legal issues when it comes to recalls. I'm joined right now by Dan Del Rio of Rio and Caraway. We have three pretty significant recalls right now in the automotive industry, and that has legal implications for consumers.
Absolutely. The issue with these recalls is that they are for safety reasons. You go through all three of them. Nissan's having something with its transmission such that they're rolling away rather than going into park. Mercedes is having a recall because their seats are not locking properly and in an accident could become loose and cause further injury. And then Rivian, which is the big competitor to Tesla, has recalled nearly their entire fleet of vehicles because they found out that the front steering knuckle is loose. So potentially, this could be a major safety issue for people, and the process of getting an agreement on a recall, issuing the notice, getting the vehicles in, getting the fix done is a lengthy process, and for a lot of people a scheduling issue. So there's a very real chance that harm can occur because of some of these. And these have now basically been admitted are manufacturing defects that have been found in these vehicles. So if a harm did occur, it would be because of a failure in either the manufacturing process, a failure to notify in time, anything along that line. But ultimately, these are claims against the manufacturer if they don't get fixed and if they cause harm.
So if you were injured and there's a recall that was in effect and you did or didn't know about it, you could sue. But also, even if you didn't, there's a potential and you weren't impacted maybe by being hurt in an accident that you could take legal action.
Yeah, at the very least, you can get it fixed. They absolutely have that responsibility. The issue is if something further, unfortunately, occurs, the manufacturer's also on the hook for that because they have now admitted that they have done something wrong.
And then there's an issue in terms of one of these recalls where the timing of that recall and the notification was at question. The issue is not just the product, but also their protocols and processes in place internally to notify people.
And that's the problem is, as we know, people move. That happened a lot during COVID. Things like that occur. Do they have current contact information? They're going to have to go through and bear the burden of that because, unfortunately, their mistake is what caused the need for it.
Okay. Let's switch gears a little bit. We're talking about in San Bernardino, a dog attack, an 80-year-old woman who was injured because of this. What are the dog bite laws in the state of California, and who is actually responsible if their dog attacks and harms or potentially kills another person?
Yeah, so unfortunately, this is one of several recent dog attacks where unfortunately there have been fatalities. And what this comes down to is every state has its own laws on personal injury. Specifically, California has a statute on point that states the owners of dogs are absolutely strictly liable for any damages caused by a dog's bite. So significantly here, it only has to do with the owner of the dog, and it only has to do if the dog bites. If the harm is caused by anything else by the dog, it goes back to a general negligence standard in California. But there's an absolute strict liability standard, the highest we have, if a dog bites a person. And fundamentally, it's because in the end of the day, we recognize dogs are still dogs. They are still animals. It doesn't matter really the breed in the end of the day. It doesn't matter how much training. We all love our dogs and our pets, and we put everything into them, treat them like family members. But at the end of the day, an animal is an animal, and they have the chance of doing things like this. And so we hold the owner absolutely strictly liable.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people put in a lot of time and energy into training. But at the end of the day, if something bad happens, it's still on that owner.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Dan Del Rio with Rio and Caraway. That is your Sidebar for today.